Alright, so we're just gonna go to bed and head on back to doing some cool shit, I guess. Oh, hello? Sleeper. Peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different. Pale, drawn out. You need to come to the Briar. Now. What's happened? They don't meet your eye. What's happened? Not here, Peak hisses. Come to the ship. I'll be waiting. Peak walks away. Don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. Okay, well, I need to go, oh, fuck, I can't have McDonald's? Wait, no, I can't have McDonald's, okay. McDonald's! Well, it sounds important, so we gotta do this. Man, it's crazy that only breaking quarantine remains. As you walk into the Climbing Briar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Esh is waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open, with its insides scattered across the top of the heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognize. Helen's drone. You freeze. Come in quick. Peak nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entranceway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces, some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Peak picks up and begins tapping away at. Ash looks up from the dissection. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA sigil on one of the removed pieces of plating. It's a Havenage spy. We think we got it before I sent data back, but we can't be sure. Peak looks at you, nervously. Ash cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the Briar? Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the options. If I say I have, they're gonna be like, why the fuck did you not tell us sooner? And if I say no, I haven't, I'd be lying. Let's be honest. I've seen this drone. Ash frowns. Following you? I met its owner. Ash pauses for a while. Peak looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper. Ash says quietly. Tell them about Helene. Because let's be honest. Let's say, hey, Helene approached me and is worried about, like, basically explaining the moral, like, fucking dilemma here. Let's be honest. We gotta fucking talk to them like people. We can't lie. We can't, like, hide information because we're nervous. Let's be honest. I hate that in movies when, like, they're just like, oh, it's not what it looks like. You wouldn't understand. And then never explain. It's just like, well, just explain. You explain that you met with Helen at the Cordon. You tell Ash and Peak about what she told you, that the Havenage Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster. Before you can finish, Ash walks away in anger, and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? She paces in front of you. Havenage are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. Okay, but, like, Havenage is not a monolith. I mean, their decision at the end of the day is a monolith, but, like, there's lots of different pieces in there, and it's not just as like easy as they all hate foreigners. That's all I know was. Imagine if like hardline Republicans, whenever they're talking about like fucking like immigration and stuff, they just start saying like "all I knows." Oh shit. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it. The wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. I didn't have a choice. I mean, granted, I literally didn't have a choice. She just told me, hey, this is what's happening. I want you to know that. If these two spacers go to do this, kiss any chance of the quarantine being ever broken goodbye, because everyone will have to agree with the hardliners. I haven't even made a choice yet. I didn't have a choice. Pete cuts in. Listen to them, please, Ash. They are with us. Pete glances between you two. What was the sleeper supposed to do? They were ambushed by this Helen. I only listened. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, Ash says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something. Some part of being human. Being an equal among others goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied or their processes compromised. My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her. The noble, higher calling. It is toxic. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others, and those that do so at a cost to their humanity. Peak tries to cut in, but Ash holds up a hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Helen can help. Maybe. I don't know. Helen can help. Fuck, I don't know. This is a tough choice. I don't want to, like, exile these fucking... Because, like, I give them food for, like, you know, several more cycles. Yeah, that's fucking great. But if they were never to be able to board the eye, it's very scary. I mean, it's scary either way. I don't know. Let's say Helen can help. Maybe we can at least talk to her and figure out what we can do. Helen can help. Ash turns away. I'm done with this. You're risking this entire supply run just by being here. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I go next cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Sleeper. She looks torn. You have to understand. This is personal for Ash. I know. Peak looks away. At Ash. I don't know, Sleeper. I just don't know what to do. Me neither, Peak. You glance around the bay of Briar, the wall seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you. And the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Peak. And what do you think, Sleeper? Peak rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? I don't know. Peak nods. Me neither. They look at Ash. But you see her? She knows. And she saved my life. So I'm going to say we do it. They squeeze your shoulder. Onward. They slip away to help Ash, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Well, I guess we fucking do it, don't we? Let's go, I have one, okay. Ascendica. Baba Booey. Hey, look at that. Baba Booey. Hey, look at that. Baba Booey. And there we go. We refit the Amber. Amber looks better than she ever has before. Bliss has done an incredible job of cleaning up the hull, and despite the exterior changes being limited, she has the impression of being lighter, somehow sleeker than before. Morris drifts by, and he's been loading up the final equipment onto Amber. It turns out Ankita will be taking her weapons, but packed and ready to sell at the first starboard belt port she hits. But now that Moritz is done, he seems in a kind of daze, floating back and forth aimlessly. Well, maybe he knows. You okay, Moritz? What's that? He turns. Oh, right, yeah. Packed and stacked, he smiles a weak smile. Was hoping Miss Cassetta would let me keep a warhead. For what? He shrugs. I don't know, just might be a cool thing to have around. Hey, Sleeper. He looks down. Did you know Bliss was leaving? You understand now. She told him. That's why he... is like this. I did. He nods distractedly. She said this place is mine. He looks up around the bay like it is suddenly some vast space he doesn't know what to do with. You'll do a great job. He looks down at you. Hey, thanks. He smiles. I appreciate you saying that. Not many people believed in me before now. First Bliss, then you. A dark look suddenly crossed his face. Hey, sleeper. There was something Bliss said. He met your eye. Are you going too? Before you can answer, Ankita glides into the bay, a massive crate on her shoulder. Sleeper, you coming or what? Bliss is already on board. She stops by the terminal, holding herself in place. Morris looks at her with a dazed expression. You look at Ankita. She's keeping it together now. She's packed all those bad feelings down someplace where you'll never see them and built a tough foundation on top. She may not be a mercenary anymore, but you imagine most people would think twice before trying to cross her. Well, she looks at you. I'm not eager to spend another moment of my time on this station unless I have to. She pauses, looking between you and Moritz. She sighs. I'll give you a minute. And she kicks off the crate, taking it to the end of the bay where the amber sits docked. Why does that sorry, my fucking like hey Google shit like turned on. Now it happened again. So I said it. You can't say those lines. You look back at Moritz. I'm going. Moritz looks like he might pass out. I get it. He steels himself. It's the right decision. Thank you. Hey, thank you for working with me these past cycles. He smiles a shaky smile. I learned a lot. Hey, look. He moves a little closer. You gotta find what you need. I did. Bliss. This place. You. This was everything I needed. He sniffs. I was in a bad place. This pulled me out. He looks away. You go find it. Akita comes across the bay, the final crate stowed. You coming then, sleeper? I'm coming. She nods. Well, okay then. Come on over with your things and I'll get you settled. She pauses. I'm sure Amber will be happy to have you. You both glide away with Moritz, his eyes wet but a smile on his face. He waves as you go, dwarfed by the vast bay, and you hope he will make it, even though you know, somehow, that he will. Akita helps you through the lock, onto the amber, and the sense of familiarity is overwhelming. You think about all the time you spent working in these quarters, listening to these sounds, diagnosing these hisses. Akita gives you a minute before she speaks. Look, sleeper, I'm not going to go back over everything that happened, she sighs. I'm trying to put that behind me. She stops, unsure of how to proceed. It's okay. The past is done. She nods. She stops. Thank you. I don't know if we can begin again, but we can move on. She sounds pained, tired. As you move off toward the corridor towards the berths, she tries again. I don't think it was that I thought you the wrong things about who or what you are. I think I just didn't think of you. I didn't think of how things might affect you. And I realized I've been like that for a long time. Focused, stubborn, willing to get the job done at any cost. She pauses. This is hard for her, but you don't want to interrupt. Well, I'm sick of paying the cost. I'm sick of being used as an extension of something bigger, something crueler than me, and having that cruelty, that violence flow through me. I just want to be me for a while. She looks down, or at least figure out who that is. She takes a deep breath. So what I'm saying is, you get off at the first port we hit in the belt. I wouldn't blame you. It's a smart move. She pauses. Or you can think, stick around and we'll see if we can find a way to make space for all of us. She looks away, her energy exhausted. Thank you. She nods. Nothing else. This is you. She turns you to a small room with a bunk and a porthole to the flickering lights outside. The outside wall is sloped like a roof, and tucked beneath it is a small desk and terminal. Bliss is next door, though I think she's in the hold right now. She said she wants to make sure the warheads are locked down tight. Ankita observes your nervous response. They are, obviously. She gives you a look. Ankita slips away, and you look around the room. You go over to the porthole and place a hand on the wall and feel Amber purr. You think you're gonna like it here. You stay like that for a while, looking out at the porthole, one hand on the wall, feeling the ship. It is through that porthole you will watch the eye getting smaller and smaller, drowning in the black. At some point it will become so small that you can hold it in between your thumb and index finger, and then it will wink out, and you won't be able to see it anymore. And it is at that moment you will finally exhale and collapse onto your bunk. In moments you will be asleep, and when you wake up, you will be among friends, or your way to somewhere new. Yeah. Another one of the endings? So we're not gonna do that, obviously. We still have the flotilla to deal with. We can't just fucking abandon them. That's not how we do it. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh. Oh, do I have to fucking do this shit again? Continue. Okay. You okay, Moritz? What? Gotta be very careful. I'm staying. Moritz looks like he might pass out. Sleeper, are you sure? Are you doing this for me? I'm staying for me. Moritz nods. Alright then, you're staying, he grins. Ankita comes back across the bay, the final crate stowed. You staying then, Sleeper? I'm staying. She nods. Well, okay then. One less mouth to feed, she pauses. Look, Sleeper. I'm not gonna go back over everything that's happened, she sighs. I'm trying to put that behind me, but I hope you find what you're looking for here. She smiles and kicks off the gliding into the ambergris and the starboard belt beyond. You both watch in silence as Amber's drives fire up. I guess this is our place now, says Moritz, the weight of everything suddenly hitting him. Your place, he smiles. Okay, but I'll need some help from time to time. You both stay for a while to watch Amber and Bliss and Ankita leave. And then Moritz goes to the racks to finally implement a new organizational system, and you head out, promising to be back to check on things soon. As you glide around the soft curve of the hub, you catch glimpses of distant stars flickering through the windows. They are beautiful, it's true, but by now you think of them as a distraction. In your time on the Eye, you've realized there's nothing out there waiting for you. No fresh stars, no bright futures, just a whole load of problems you haven't found yet. Your place is here, among the people you know and the problems you know. You wish Ankita and Bliss the best of luck out in the belt, but as you do, you focus on the Eye, on the vast spinning rim that rotates around its hub, on its buildings and flashing lights, on its people and places. This is your home, and for now, it contains all the futures you need. So there we go. Those are most of the endings, but we just have to finish off the episode Flux, I guess. Next round is yours. Morris arrives at the table with a couple steel drink canisters, typical of the hub's only bar, the Gimbal Lounge. He settles into the webbing beside the table and clunks them down onto the magnetic table. This place, you have decided, is ridiculous. A rapidly spinning cavernous sphere, the Gimbal's weak gravity, just like the gravity at the Eye's rim, is created by its gut-wrenching rotation. The interior surface of the sphere is the Gimbal's floor, which descends towards the equator where one long bar loops around the entire circumference. Tumbling out from the central ring are an array of booths and seating arrangements, equipped with all kinds of harnesses and webbings to keep customers in place. Those harnesses are there because the gimbal doesn't quite spin up fast enough, and you watch as the clientele bounce towards the car in lazy arcs, or shift from table to table with graceful leaps. What are you thinking? Asks Morris, noticing you staring out into the gimbal. How weird this place is. Morris glances around, as if for the first time. Yeah, Bliss never used to like coming here. Morris takes a drink and stretches. So, Sleeper, you sticking around? If you'll have me. Morris nods. Of course, I'm gonna need your help in the bay. Morris rubs the back of his head. One cycle at a time. That's how we'll take it. Nice and easy. You aren't sure if he's talking to himself or you. We'll make it. He lifts his drink for a toast. So the next cycle, he pronounces, and knocks it back. Later, when you finally leave the gimbal, Morris is still laughing. You help him out of the spinning gimbal and back into the hub, sending him on his way home to the bay. Then you pause for a moment to watch the stars as they spin and spin around the Eye. You smile to yourself and think of Blitzen and Keats out there somewhere among those points of light to the next cycle. Nice. Let's help with Lawrence. The Sendika. Right, let's cross the greenway. Oh yeah, I can... No, I can't upgrade. I have no more drives besides breaking quarantine. Sleep at the dorm. Oh, we can use scrap. Cycle. The waste. One more day. Okay, let's see. Let's do some waste management. Oh, that took a lot out of me. What if I'm a Farmer John? Here. There we go. Oh, that was a +2. Oh well. Barter for food? What do I get? Oh. Cool. Yeah, let's keep on mushroom farming. Hey, look at that. We got some good shit. Look at that. Oh, I can make synthesizer. Hell yeah. Yeah, let's try to collect some spores. Alright, let's self-repair. And then we end cycle. She's gone, Sleeper. Peak is breathless and shaky. She started the run without us. Shit. Let's go. If we head to the quarter now, Peak starts back up the quarter. They turn back. She has to make it, Sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Ash, I hope you know what you're doing. Oh god. You arrive, frantic and anxious, at the quarter. Peak is nowhere to be seen. Then you hear footsteps hammering on the metal stairway Helen's drone led you through before, the one that leads up to the observation deck. You leap up the stairs 2 at a time and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Sleeper. Peak emerges from the light. I know she's trying to protect me, but... It's okay, she chose. But what about my choice, Sleeper? I'm not a child anymore. I can fight for myself. They turn away. There she is. Peak rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the Climbing Briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. You spot the Climbing Briar, a glint of blue and white, beside it the red glare of a tug's light. The tug crew went with her, Peak smiles. I knew they'd keep their word. That'll help. Peak doesn't seem to hear you, but the idea of the crew backing Ash up makes you smile. Maybe this thing will work. You watch as the Briar and its tug escorts are down towards the edge of the corridor, demarcated by the red lights of the perimeter system. So far, so good. The Briar will just look like another refugee ship being escorted into the cordon, at least at a glance. Pete grips the rail as Ash reaches the edge of the cordon. That invisible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Let's hope the blind spot triggered. You think back to the mess of systems you had to wade through to set it up. The delicate contingencies you set up to trigger the sensor blackout at just the right moment. Without noise, without ceremony, the Briar slides through the cordon. You await the flickering of alarm lights, the swarming of drones, but nothing else. Just another cycle, just another ship. Ash is in. But you and Pete let out the breath you've holding. You have been probably holding, I think. Both you and Pete let out the breath you've been holding. They laugh. How did she do it? Pete smiles, shaking their head. She's good. She certainly is. If a little stuttered, they laugh. You feel a little shaky from the tension, but Pete's ease helps you settle. You imagine Ash, steely-eyed in the pilot's seat of the Briar, searching for a place to dock. Maybe being stubborn has its advantages. You okay? Me? Pete sighs. I think that took years off my life, but I've got to hand it to Ash. She was right. You and Pete turn back to the window, looking for the Briar again amongst all those hulls, the calm fading as new worries settle in. You spot the Briar first this time, docking with the largest of the flotilla's ships, a vast, converted tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get that thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the Briar, unable to get any sense of progress from its plastic exterior. They will be offloading everything now, Pete says, both assuring you and themselves that everything is going to plan. You think of all the supplies loaded into the Briar and how long the process of loading them might take. The bay was packed, rammed with everything you could offer, and the thought of bringing all of that to the flotilla makes you smile. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome they'll give Ash as the bearer of such gifts. You even imagine a smile from Ash as she is showered with thanks. You focus on that as you watch the Briar, and continue the nervous wait for it to finish unloading. It's breaking off, Pete points at the Briar, and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. Ash must have ended things early, but why? Then you see them, the tugs closing in on the Briar. Havenage must have spotted the ship. You and Pete are up against the window again, willing the Briar a safe path out of the flotilla. Suddenly, the Briar shifts in space, a blue blur between two hulls. Pete whistles. Look at that, they smile at you. Looks like those upgrades we put together work. You watch as Ash cuts through the crowded flotilla, the tugs not daring to follow her dangerous path, and peeling away. It is hard to keep track of the Briar, and suddenly both you and Pete are searching the Black 4 sign. Where has she gone? Then, all of a sudden, she is out, blue against the black, pulling away from the cordon on a wide arc back towards the station. A clean run. Pete cheers and smiles at you. We did it! She's out! They beam uncontrollably at you, the tension released. You find yourself smiling too, smiling at these two beautiful idiots and their beautiful ship. Then Pete is hugging you, squeezing you with all the nervous energy that it had been building. Thank you, Sleeper. We did this together. They step back, still smiling. We did something. Come on, they rush out the observation deck. Let's meet her. Oh. Guess this one? I don't know. You and Pete rush into the Briar, finding yourselves in the now empty bay. The change is a reminder of what you achieved, and looking around, you feel all the more satisfied. A hiss sounds at the far end of the bay, and Ash enters, looking exhausted. Pete runs up to embrace her, but she sits down on the bay floor before they reach her. You did it, they sit beside her. Ash, you were incredible. She smiles a small smile at this, laying her head on Pete's shoulder. You suddenly feel like you are intruding, seeing the two of them like this, quiet and content. Sleeper, Pete calls. Come on over. You cross the bay and sit beside them on the hard metal floor. Ash, Pete asks. Did you give the flotilla our chairs? They both burst out laughing at the ridiculousness of it all, at the exhaustion and the worry and everything else. You laugh too. It's impossible not to, and after a while you all come to a stop, Pete wiping their tears, Ash shaking her head. You would have loved to see it, Sleeper, Ash says quietly. The welcome I got. They came to greet the ship once I docked, to offload the supplies. I told them I was coming, of course, as soon as I got inside the cordon, but there were so many. children, families, they were smiling at me, shaking my hand. Sol was there too, Beak, and he's just as gruff as he sounds over comms. They took it all, crate after crate, until the ship was emptied out. Ash looks away. But there are so many, and even with everything we managed to bring, they needed more. They made me promise I would try to come back. Ash, Beak shakes his head. You know we can't do that twice. Ash stands up. What are we supposed to do? Wait for them to lift the quarantine? She's angry again, the familiar tension rising in her voice. Beak tries to pull her back down. Sit, Ash. Rest. You've done enough for today. Don't, Beak. I know my limits. Ash hardens. Okay, well, seeing as they didn't catch you, perhaps they will lift it. They know the flotilla poses no danger now, and if they can account for the extra load on the life support. Ash walks away towards the ladder that leads up to the upper part of the ship. I need a rest, Beak. She holds up a hand. Sleeper. And then she limps up the ladder, step by painful step. I'm afraid if you were expecting a change in Ash's demeanor, Beak smiles at you. It's okay. Let her rest. Beak nods. I think I need some rest too. They put a hand on your shoulder and get up from the floor. We couldn't have done this without you, Sleeper. And I know those in the flotilla would thank you too. Go rest. Beak limps up the ladder too, leaving you alone on the metal floor of the bay. Your thoughts drift to all those people on the flotilla, sleeping and sitting on metal floors like this. Children, families, playing in cargo bays and repurposed fuel tanks. You know their story isn't over yet, and you look forward to meeting them. The quarantine will lift, and you feel more sure of this fact every moment, even though you aren't sure why. You lie back on the metal and stare at the ceiling. What was it Fang told you Erlen said? The eye opens for us all? Maybe the old guy was right. A home for the lost. You like that idea. Yeah, you like the idea of that. Maybe in time you can help make that a reality. But something is bothering you. A sliver of a thought like a splinter you can't extract. Why are thousands of refugees coming here now? People don't abandon their homes for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system? And when will it reach the eye? You shudder on a cold metal floor and get up. Something is coming. You can feel it. This isn't over. Oh, fuck. The episodic story of the flotilla will continue in episode of Refuge coming October 2022. Well, judging by when episodes should release, I think it should be around October by now. Maybe like early October? Maybe, I don't know. It depends. I might switch some series around because it's like around that time, but I am excited. It is months away at this point. Not many months, but I'll say it's like a 2 months away, maybe. Maybe it's 2 months away, or 1.5 months. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I wonder how my choice of oh my god, there's so many choices that could have happened. Um, like I wonder if at every decision Ash would have taken the ship no matter what, and then depending on what supplies I gave the flotilla, or like what things I outfitted and completed in that time frame, would have meant like, oh, like they didn't get all the supplies, or oh, like they didn't get away. Like it changes the outcome for the next episode. I'm very excited to see what the next episode has, and I guess at this point, we're at a point where now there's nothing else for me to do. So really, I, at this point I'm just gonna give my final thoughts. So, final thoughts. Citizen Sleeper is a really fucking good game. Actually, no, hold on, sorry. Citizen Sleeper is a really fucking good story. It's an okay game. Um, I was stressed when I first started this game. You really felt like you were in the middle of like you were just given nothing. It felt like being poor simulator. Like I was just barely getting by, and then I'd, you know, lose money on shit and shit that made me feel like angry for like I wasn't like making progress, Like there was that mercenary that like fucking was just like pay my bar bill, bitch. And I was just like I literally can't. Like it's either this or I buy stable attitude to have me continue living. Um, so that even though it was very stressful, that was easily the most fun I had with this game. Like it's kind of like with a horror game, you know? Like you personally don't like being scared because you would rather not be scared. But the feeling of being scared is part of what it makes the story enjoyable. You wouldn't like a horror story if you didn't feel that tension. And that's kind of the thing. I felt tension very early on, and I felt like this place was very hard to live in. In the vacuum of space, in this middle of nowhere, it really did feel like I was just struggling to survive. And I think that is the core concept of Citizen Sleeper. Um, Eventually, I got abilities that helped me gamify it. So having, I think, which one did I get first? I think it was this one, the chance to screen cryo interface, and that was okay. But the thing that really saved me was Intuit. When I got the dice actions to display potential positive and negative outcomes, I was able to very much like to see what things were doing. I didn't have to like waste dice on certain things. I knew, okay, this is like a better option for me in the long run. So I think that helped save me a lot. This one, the re-rolling dice once per cycle, is insane. Like this, Intuit is actually insanely good. It's absolute, like this is the best skill to have, easily, hands down, no question about it. Um, I feel like some of these other ones, it's debatable. Like this, I think it was helpful, but it wasn't really like, oh, like make it or break it, like, you know. And I think, I don't know, I think if I had Sunbathe very early on, it would have maybe, like I would have maybe seen more use in it because I would have been able to just like waste a dice roll to like gain shit back instead of having to always like buy like McDonald's. So that would have been nice, but yeah, yeah, I think I think once I started gaining some of those skills, I was able to develop a method to this madness that I've like been developing. Um, yeah, I think that helped me like start to learn how to like, okay, I can start saving more money. It helped me with a lot of things, and I mean that's kind of what it is. Like you kind of build wealth on wealth. It's like really hard to get rich without an already like a good amount of money in the bank, and that's what we see here. I mean, once I discovered like gambling, I just became a gambler slash mushroom dealer. And I mean that's fine, like don't get me wrong, but yeah. Um, what else? I think that's pretty much it. I think that's like uh the artwork in this game was really good. I really enjoyed all the characters. I did enjoy the characters a lot. I thought the characters were really fun. Um, I think they had like some really good personal stories, and they had a lot of good like cyberpunk elements to it. A lot of sci-fi elements that really aren't explored, or like they are explored, but like just not as much. Um, but yeah, no, I'd say this is a really good story. The gameplay, I think, like towards the end, they really just are like, oh, okay, well, just finish the game. You know what I mean? Like, here, finish everyone's stories, but like, don't have to worry about like the actual gameplay. And I'm like, that's cool, but this isn't really a visual novel. I mean, it is kind of a visual novel, but like the gameplay elements to it just kind of like towards the end just kind of felt like, okay, I'm just going through the motions now. Like I'm really just eating McDonald's and like making some money and like doing these stupid quests. Um, but yeah, I did like it. I think this was a good change of pace. So I don't know what we're gonna be doing next, but we will be coming back to Citizen Sleeper. I don't know if the next episode, if there, this is probably gonna say final on, maybe it will say final on it. I don't know, but I want you to know that this for me is final for right now because this is like I've been playing this game pretty frequently. So the next time I play it, it will be like 2 months from now. And um, once that the episode Refugee airs, and then I think the next one comes out either December or January. Um, so then we'll play that. But I just want to give you my final thoughts from someone who just got done playing like the main game story, because my vision of it might, or my like view on it might change in like when the next episode airs, and I might be like nicer about some things or like meaner about some things, and be like, oh, it was kind of forgettable, when like things weren't actually forgettable when I was playing it. Um, but yeah, no, that's those are my thoughts. I hope you had fun with this. I know this was a lot of talking, and it was like there was no narrator, so it was kind of like Disco Elysium, but like Disco Elysium had a voiceover, so it was a lot of me talking and dialogue from that, and because of that, it was less like stuff that was coming off the dome. Um, but yeah, I do hope you liked it, and we'll see you when I see you.